used to have some jokers days. Yeah, I'm chillin', figure out 5 ways to get paid. Acting like a menace, boy, you know you ashtray. Me and Mo, co-MVPs, yeah, we sitting there.
Welcome back to another episode of Swamp Stories. For this episode, we finally head back to the East Coast. There, we cover some important history that nobody knows about. But despite the lack of publicity, this is a major problem that New York has to deal with. So get ready because this is a good one. But before we get into it, make sure
the DR has 2 big gangs, Los Trinitarios and the Bloods.
Leave a like and subscribe if you're new.
Okay, so they got Bloods. They got Bloods in the DR.
So
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
As well. So let's get into it. We start off.
I know in New York they got another gang called Dominicans Don't Play. Are they the ones that are Bloods?
About 1,000 miles southeast of the United States in the beautiful Dominican Republic. As many of us know, the island was colonized half by the French and half by the Spanish. Well, in 1804, Haiti gained its independence from France and became its own nation. And directly after this occurred, Haiti itself colonized the Dominican Republic. Kind of. This lasted until 1844 when the Dominicans revolted. The revolt
so France dominated fucking Haiti. Then Haiti went and did the same shit to the Dominican Republic. Oh, okay. That's one thing I didn't know.
Led by 3 men, Juan Duarte.
I knew that France had colonized pretty much the whole island, but I didn't know that the Dominicans the Haitians turned around and did the same shit to the Dominicans. It's crazy.
Matias Mea and Francisco Sanchez. Together, the three are known as the Trinitarios, a term that Dominicans hold dearly. Well, over the years, the Dominican Republic became a melting pot of 3 cultures, and after decades of mixing, the population created their own cultural identity. The country has always had a strong culture and extreme pride. On top of this, the weather is great, the beaches are beautiful, and the women... Okay, let me stay in my lane. But despite all of these great attributes, the
Dominican Republic is just like Hawaii, man. I feel like DR and Hawaii got the baddest bitches, man.
Dominican Republic has had a lot of issues as well. Political and economic struggles have made life on the island extremely difficult for a long time. So
this ain't the right time for French jokes.
The love they have for their country, many started to leave in the 1970s. Between 1978 and 1982, 170,000 Dominicans immigrated to the United States, and 155,000 of them ended up in New York City.
Damn.
Many of these people came over with...
Rishi, I got you next. Let me finish this video and I got you. How you doing today, brother?
No money, didn't speak English, and had very little
Good to see you,
education.
man. I didn't think you was coming by, man.
Because of this, the majority of Dominicans settled in the Bronx in the 1980s. And if you know anything about the Bronx in the 80s, not a place you would ever want to roll through. The Bronx was
we were just talking about that shit.
Extremely rough and not very welcoming to newcomers, to say the least. So
Good
upon
to hear,
arrival,
Rishi.
many Dominicans were pestered at school and on the streets. This environment forced many to take a different route than what their parents had planned for. And that introduces us to 2 young men. Leonidas Sierra, also known as Junito, and Julio Marin, also known as Caballo. The 2 men came to America as young teenagers and lived in the rough projects of the Bronx. There, the teens had to fight every day to gain respect for themselves. And because of this, they both spiraled into the street life by 1988. And in 1989, both were arrested for separate homicides in the Bronx. Junito received 221 years and Caballo got a life sentence as well. At a young age, their life in the Bronx was already over, but now they
hella time. 200 years and a life sentence, bro. I'm back. Good dinner, man. Wallahi, man. I'm glad. I'm so glad, bro. It's good to hear, man.
Had to fight for their respect once again. Inside of Rikers Island, the Dominicans were severely outnumbered by everyone else. And because of this, they were at a major disadvantage. So in 1992, Caballo and Junito came up with a plan to unify all of the Dominicans in Rikers Island. They admired the original Trinitarios of the Dominican Republic. So much so that they adopted their strategies and took their name as well. Juanito and Caballo were charismatic leaders, so by 1993 there were over 100 Trinitarios in Rikers Island. Quickly, they gained a reputation of being the wildest and most reckless in the system. And over the years, as members were released back into society, the Trinitarios spread throughout the streets of New York City. The two leaders wanted members to take over entire neighborhoods of the Bronx and Queens as well. So starting in 1994, Trinitario members hit the streets hard. They went through the Bronx and Queens, taking over block by block.
This is Swamp Stories. Swamp Stories. Another good one, though, if you don't know about them. Another good one if you don't know about them. Y'all go subscribe to Swamp Stories.
And of course, this strategy caused rivalries all around them. The leaders stood for total domination and only had one big rule. When a Trinitario bleeds, we all bleed. And this leads to reckless acts that many members don't really want to commit. And it also led to the Trinitarios being the most hated in New York City by the year 2000. In just 6 years, they had dozens of rivals.
Facts.
Only one alliance left. This would be Dominicans Don't Play, also known.
I don't like Tommy G video on the Trinitarios because he had some clique talking about it. What you mean? Explain a little bit more. Explain a little bit more, Pedro.
They were established a couple years before the Trinitarios and are headquartered in Washington Heights. The area was defined
Yeah, he does sound like Tommy. He sounds like a deeper voice Tommy G
DDP territory, and
this video hella long. It's not, Rishi. It's 15 minutes.
New.
It's not as long as the one you sent, man. You gotta be patient, man. I got on stream early just for you, my boy.
This area over. Well, for whatever reason, the Trinitarios wanted Washington Heights as well, and this ruined their relationship forever.
Okay. I did a video on that too on YouTube, man, if y'all want to go watch that.
At the start of 2001, DDP and the Trinitarios were full-on rivals. So at this point, the Trinitarios no longer have any allies in the game. And the us against the world mentality caused a snowball effect as well. Everyone wanted to test the Trinitarios, partly because they wore lime green, but also because of their reputation that spread throughout the area. And that
lime green is hard though, I ain't gonna lie, man.
Takes us to their first national story. Due to gentrification, many Dominicans left New York City in the early 2000s. Some went to Yonkers, some went to Long Island, and others went across the river to New Jersey. And with these moves, people brought their affiliations with them into uncharted territory. And for a Trinitario named Luis Arias, that meant representing his colors in West New York, New Jersey. The small area is represented by
West New York, New Jersey. That's some confusing ass shit, man. West New York, New Jersey.
Guys who call themselves 60th Street. Within the first month, they pestered Luis, and a member named Mungie even jumped him. Of course, these guys had no idea who they were messing with. So the next time Luis returned to the Bronx...
Yeah, lime green goes hard, I ain't gonna lie. That's why I was like, man, that's the perfect gang colors, man. That shit's kind of fly, man.
He told his friends about what had transpired. They
were Okay, I forgot.
So the Bronx Trinitarios came up with a plan. The upcoming Sunday
would love pizza, man. Pizza for my son.
Would be the annual Dominican Day Parade. The annual celebration takes place on the second Sunday of August and honors Dominican independence. There's one in the Bronx, Manhattan, and West New York. Typically, New Yorkers aren't going to New Jersey for fun or
I got some shit that the lime green turns to purple in the black light. Oh, that's fire.
Willingly for any reason, especially on a festive day like this. But for the Bronx Trinitarios, it's a perfect opportunity to make a statement in West New York. So Alex Colon, Pablo Molino, and Pedro Quesada head over the bridge at 6 p.m. They wait for the parade to calm down and spectators to leave the scene. Then they go looking for 60th Street members. They drive around each block looking carefully.
I won't see it, bro. You gotta send that shit to the Discord.
Well, they spot two guys who may be associated. So they get out of the car and approach one of the men named Jarmer Brown. They ask him, do you know
Jarmer Brown? I already know where this is about to go for him, man. Why?
To which he responds, yeah, why? They tell him that they need to find him. To which Jarmer responds, if you want him, you have to see me first.
Oh no, why would you say some shit like that, nigga? They about to put this nigga on a poster, man.
The three Trinitarios do not like the response, so they unfortunately make a terrible decision. Thankfully, Jarmer's friend Christopher Navarro would testify, and all three men
Rest in peace, nigga. But that shit was like, he asked for it. That nigga asked to get
would
clapped.
get life sentences. This
Nah,
would
nigga, if you looking for him, nigga, you gotta go through me first. All right, nigga, pow, nigga, fuck, you ain't fucking invincible.
was New Jersey's
what he thought
introduction to
was
the
gonna happen.
Trinitarios, who would later spread throughout the region. But for now, we stay in New York City. Incidents like this kept occurring all over the metro area. The guys in lime green taking small incidents way too far. And interestingly enough, it wasn't just guys. In 2003, a woman named Maria Meja started the female faction of the Trinitarios, known as the Bad Barbies.
Bad Barbies, they got females out here getting busy.
Maria was a young, attractive brunette who always painted her nails black. Unlike the rest of the Trinitarios, Maria did not identify herself with colors, flags.
Yeah, and that's the dangerous shit. She already undercover. They saying that she was pretty, and she like nigga, she a female. That's a fucking. She gonna be the best. I bet you gonna end up setting up hella niggas or something. Perfect setup female.
Or even tattoos. Instead, she tried to remain as regular and
setting up
unintimidating
shit,
as possible.
guaranteed.
That's because her strategy was to deceive rivals and even be used as a tool to set them up. And for
Nigga, I just said that.
reason, the Bad Barbies were the most dangerous faction of the Trinitarios, and that's from NYPD. Well, Maria's first test would come in March of 2005. Earlier in the month, the Trinitarios lost a beloved member named Gil Lanier in the Bronx. So to get
Rest in peace,
revenge,
my nigga Gil, man.
the Bronx Trinitarios called up Maria Meja. They wanted her to lead them to a rival on the DDP side. March 11th, 2005. Maria meets up with a man named Miguel Perez and takes him to a Mexican restaurant in the Bronx. After eating with him, they leave the restaurant and go their separate ways. And that's when a group of Trinitarios approach Miguel. Because of her acting skills, no one suspected that Maria had anything to do with this. However, the incident would catch up to her later on. But for now, we remain in 2005,
When now she got
which
caught
ended up
that she bet some self-snitching or something.
being a wild year for the Trinitarios. NYPD says that they're responsible for 9 lives between March 11th and New Year's Day. And unfortunately, the majority of these occurred for
Laying shit the fuck down, bro.
absolutely no reason. September 5th, 2005. It's a Monday afternoon and pickup basketball is taking
Yeah,
place
man. Chill with my boy Rishi, man, so he don't fucking have a temper tantrum, bro.
at Smith Park in Yonkers. During the game, two
boy
guys
don't
get
wanna
into
wait.
an argument. That would be Kayshawn Phillips and Juan Martinez, a reputed Trinitario member. Well, Martinez feels disrespected by Kayshawn and wants to prove a point, so he leaves the park and calls up 3 friends. He tells them to come to the park as soon as possible. They arrive and together all 4 men rush Kayshawn. That's when Carlos Urena takes it too far.
Damn, rest in peace, Kayshawn Phillips, man.
After the incident, all of the witnesses would testify against the Trinitarios. At this point, the community had enough. All of these incidents were completely unwarranted. So in 2006,
That's the only reason why I know about the Trinitarios, man, because they always on the news, man. Always on the news,
FBI
bro.
started their first investigations of the Trinitarios. Because of their lack of structure, inside information was always being leaked in the streets of New York. And as you can imagine, this made it a very easy case. In April of 2006, the FBI did a major sweep of 149 Trinitarios in New York. This was known as Operation Green Haze, one of the most successful takedowns in state history. So with 149 members gone, the Trinitario buzz would calm down for the next few years. However, the quiet streak would end on March 12, 2010. It's a Friday night in the Bronx and every hood is lit per usual. On this night, the infamous Latin Kings are hanging out on the corner of 197th and Webster in West Bronx. Well, a Latin King named Raymond Hernandez notices a man in lime green walking down the street. So he
I don't know, man. I don't think green and yellow mix, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know nothing about this. I don't know if they got beef, but, man, this shit don't look like it's gonna go well, man.
calls over his
don't
fellow
think this
kings
is
and they
good.
surround a Trinitario named Targelis Vargas. The kings rough him up but ultimately let him go. All they wanted to do was let him know that this is their territory. So
shit.
Vargas instantly heads back
Damn, I don't think, but roughing a nigga up and letting him go is just as bad as killing a nigga, because now y'all got beef. He definitely gonna spin the block. He coming back. He definitely spinning back.
to his hood looking for his friends.
Latin Kings don't fucking play that shit, man. He definitely coming back.
He finds them on the corner of Cacheo Market on Sheridan Ave. He tells them what just happened and they're all furious. So they all get in a minivan and head over to the King's territory looking for Raymond Hernandez. After an hour of searching, he's nowhere to be found, so they head back home. They decide they're gonna come back on the next Friday because they're certain that the Kings will be outside. March 19th, 2010, 6 p.m. Vargas along with 3 Trinitarios are ready to roll. So they hop in a minivan and head towards 197th. They circle around the block with nothing but metal pipes in their possession. Boom. They spot Raymond Hernandez on the corner of 196th. So together the 5 men hop out and run towards him. Before they can get to him, his friend yells run and Hernandez speeds away. Once the Trinitarios realize they can't catch up, they turn around
My nigga. My nigga. My nigga was a fucking track star.
His friend. And even though his friend has nothing to do with the Kings,
why you didn't run too? Man, W friend though, bro. What the
Trinitarios
fuck,
pounce on him
man?
anyways.
Rest in
Orlando
peace,
was a
man.
good citizen and
Rest
yet
in
another
peace,
victim
Orlando,
of the
bro.
Trinitarios. The story made national news and everyone involved was arrested. And because of a lot of snitching, they took down 40 Trinitarios with them. One thing about New York is that they will get you and you will do
What's
a lot
up,
of
J
time.
Artist?
And
Yeah,
that takes
damn, R.I.P. man, Orlando. That was the fucked upest one, cause he didn't have nothing to do with this shit. Everybody else was kind of like they all was gang banging. I think everybody knows how I feel about that. If you a gang member, you sign up for it. You kill another gang member, y'all both signed up for it. I just hate when civilians get caught up in this shit, bro.
Takes us back to the
fucked
infamous
up, man.
Maria Mea. Due to a testimony of a fellow Trinitario, she was finally held accountable for what she did
Love
in
was a track star, Rishi, for real.
2005. So in under a decade, 200 members were taken down and sentenced to many years. Because of these
At least he
strong
got away,
efforts
but
by
he wasn't supposed to
NYPD,
leave his
crime
homeboy, man. He left his homeboy to take his fucking punishment, bro, which is he gotta
in the
live
Bronx
with that
plummeted.
now, bro.
In
You
fact,
gotta live with that shit for the rest of your life, knowing that he got what was meant for you.
in 2012, crime was down 79% compared to 2005. But just because it's safer now does not mean the Trinitarios disappeared completely. In fact, their biggest incident would come in 2018. On June 20th, 2018, the entire country was shocked by a major incident. A young man named Lisandro Guzman Feliz,
What's up, DJ
also known as
Chris?
Junior, lost his life. The
Happy
incident
Sunday,
occurred
man.
at 11:30
Yeah, this was like, man, I think everybody's seen that. Rest in peace, Junior, man.
p.m. while Junior left his apartment to meet up with some friends. As he walked down the street, a group of Trinitarios got out of the car and chased him down the street.
This
He
shit
ran-
went like super viral, man. Is this the same video? No, but this is just the same. From the last one we watched, this is like some of the same content because it's about the same. It's about the Trinitarios.
and inside a nearby bodega, and that's where it all ended.
Yeah, the last one just had this. It had this same like cause this shit was so big. Like, cause man, rest in peace, bro. He had nothing to do with
The
nothing, bro.
famous story has been covered hundreds of times but still gives you goosebumps. Junior was a good kid and not involved with the street life whatsoever. The Trinitarios had simply mistaken him for another rival.
Yeah, it
well,
was
after
nuts,
this
Cole.
made the news, the hashtag Justice for Junior went.
Yeah, they got exactly what they deserve, man. That's why I say I don't do like the justice for people a lot of time, but like that shit was uncalled for. He chased a little kid around the store. Fucking, I don't even want to say what they did to him. That shit was it was disgusting, man. It was disgusting to watch.
And not too long after, 15 Trinitarios were arrested. This was the mainstream world's introduction to the Trinitarios. And that takes us to the new generation. On a positive note, some Trinitario rappers have made some noise in the past
Cry,
few
big
years.
boy.
You have rappers like True157, Anthony Patria, and most importantly, GB Tribuvelli. GB is from the Queens faction of the Trinitarios, specifically the Lafrac Projects. In 2019, GB released songs like 7-Line Goons, Train to Go, Two Turns, and plenty more. In just a short time, he and Anthony Patria were making noise in New York City, but then everything would come crashing down for GB. On June 4th, 2020, GB Tribuvelli and his baby mother got into an argument, and sadly, his baby mother made a terrible decision.
Yo, Rishi, you are tweaking. I can't even focus because you tweaking.
The incident shocked everyone. Nothing like this had ever happened before. Many believed that GB had the potential to be a big rapper. Well, outside of New York, the Trinitarios have grown to over 20,000 members worldwide. They spread to Florida, the UK, the DR, and even Spain.
I figure a lot of New York gangs end up in Florida and vice versa. I realized that. I guess because it's all like on the East Coast, Georgia as well.
Say that this began when Trinitarios began returning to the Dominican Republic. And from there, many of these people have immigrated all over the world. The more you know. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode of Swamp Stories. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Peace.
Man, I appreciate you, Swamp Stories, man, for another dope ass videos, man.
Welcome back to another
Good shit about the
Put my trust in you, can't believe I really did that. Hate myself for that shit. Now I'm sitting here trying to figure my shit at. Where the fuck my mind at, man? All the time I lost, man, I'll never get back.